Hi, welcome to the second session of the Thinking Thumbprint 5-Day Challenge. In the first session we learnt about the thinking habits. What are they? What's their function? What's their technical term? In this session we are going to look at just one of the thinking thumbprint habits, namely sensory perception. The name sensory perception is made out of two words, two terms. The first one being sensory. So the sensory habit literally deals with our 5 physical senses: see, hear, feel, smell, taste. The word perception relates to our brain's ability to process the information that it gets from our senses and convert it into our perception of the world, creating the assumptions that we then act on. We all use all of our 5 physical senses. But as it happens, each of us has a preferred sensory pattern that we prefer over the others. And that pattern dominates the way in which we collect information, the way in which we sort it, and the way in which we use it to communicate with the world around us. These dominant sensory perception patterns influence our behavior, the way in which we do things, the way we breathe, our eye movements, and even the words that we use. These habits, this language, the eye movements allows us to help recognize the preferred sensory perception habit in other people. But John, what does it matter? Why should I know what the preferred sensory patterns of other people are? Remember in the first session we had the lesson of the polarized lenses. As a visual, you may have a vertical filter in your polarized lens, where the people around you, being auditory and kinesthetic, will have a horizontal pattern, and when they overlap, in other words, when we communicate, the communication is deleted, distorted, or generalized, complicating communication and making the connection difficult. Knowing your own sensory pattern and that of those around you allows you to align the polarizing lenses, allows you to align the thinking habit in order to improve the flow of communication between you and therefore improve the connection. Does the sensory perception habit make that big a difference? Absolutely. The only way we can get information into our minds is through our 5 physical senses. Our connection with the outside world is literally through our ability to see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Although I will be honest, the older we get, the less of a role smell and taste actually play, and we are left with 3 dominant patterns: see, hear, and feel, which are also known as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. The 5-day challenge is literally about your ability to recognize your own sensory perception habit and adjust it to accommodate the sensory perception pattern of those that are around you. Your task in this challenge is learning to recognize the habit in others through the behaviors, eye movements, language patterns that people use. For example, a visual person uses their hand movements up high. They tend to look up a lot while they are collecting, sorting, and analyzing information around them. Their voices are higher pitched and they speak a little bit quicker than the other sensory perception patterns. Auditories speak in a monotone, quite flat. Their hand movements are around shoulder height. Their eye movements are rapid eye movements, left and right, as if they are looking to their ears for answers. Kinesthetics have a low voice tone, will famously answer questions with and their hand movements are around their gut, as that's where they also breathe. See your manual for more behavior and language patterns to help you recognize whether the people around you are visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. Mastering the sensory perception pattern allows you to master the 5-day challenge. Adapting to people and communicating to them in a way that allows their filter to easily absorb the information and improving the communication, improving the connection, allows you to win this challenge. Have a look in the manual for 2 more links to videos that are going to further explain visual, auditory and kinesthetic and the role that it plays in our connection with people. Also, there is a link to the Thinking Thumbprint quiz, which will give you an indication of your results. Are you visual, auditory or kinesthetic? So do the quiz before you go to the next session. Your manual will be sent to you automatically, and we'll talk about your results in the Zoom session. I'll see you soon.